Hello, welcome to Tea Time with Nejla. So great to see you here. So, if you don't have your tea, grab your tea, relax, enjoy this little mini reflection lesson. Today, I wanted to reflect on how do we define choreography in this new age. Lately, I find myself returning to the question of what choreography is. For a long time, it felt clear. Choreography was the arrangement of movement in space and time, a way of deciding what happens, where it happens, and in what order. Something shaped, authored, and repeatable. Over time, that definition begins to open, expand. Dance no longer lives only on stages. It appears in public spaces, on screens, in archives, in memory. It exists as event and as trace, as presence and as residue. And what often remains is not the movement itself, but the quality of relationship that unfolded while the movement happened. This shift how choreography is felt. Attention moves away from what moves and toward how things meet, how bodies relate to one another, how space shapes behavior, how time stretches or compresses sensation, how attention gathers, disperses, and then returns. In this sense, choreography begins with relationship, with the body's awareness to sense connection. Movement arises from that field as a response rather than a starting point. This becomes most visible when working with others. Choreography lives in how we arrive together, where we place ourselves in the room, how we share weight, how we share silence and duration, how much space we give and how much space we take. Sometimes it appears in a pause, sometimes in how close we are to each other, sometimes in the decision to wait. Choreography begins to feel less like composition and more like orientation, a way of tuning bodies toward one another and toward the moment we share. The role of the choreographer shifts with this. It becomes a practice of shaping conditions, holding a frame where relationships can emerge, shift, and remain alive. Structure is still present, but it breathes. Scores, agreements, and simple rules hold the work. They offer continuity without fixing outcomes. They allow repetition while leaving space for change. What gathers importance is attunement, a felt sense that everything belongs together, even as it changes. So choreography becomes a way of holding complexity, a way of staying with connection before it becomes explanation. Perhaps choreography is not a fixed definition. It is an ongoing practice of attention, something that reveals itself through relationship, through time, and through the body's quiet intelligence of connection. To end this, I leave you with a question to carry, to ponder, to play with. What am I tuning toward when I choreograph, and how does that shape what becomes possible? Ask yourself, what am I tuning toward when I choreograph, and how does that shape what becomes possible? And with this, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day, week, night, wherever you are. Be blessed and see you around. Leave your comments below and ciao.